So, hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Today I'm going to be making a journal, and it's similar to one that I did at Christmas time, and I had people asking me to do a tutorial on it, and so I'm going to it's basically the same journal, it's just not going to be Christmassy, and I'm using two Reader's Digests. You have to have two books about the same size. This one is a little bit thinner than the other one because one is a lot more vintage than the other, and one's just a little bit wider, but that's actually a good thing because one is going to sit inside the other, and so that will work. And so I have two. They're the same height and the same width. As far as this way across, and that's what you need. The fact that one's just a teeny tiny bit wider that's actually a good thing. They have different covers on them, and that's okay. I want to use something with a lot of blue in it. I'm going to be doing a design team project, and it's Charming Fragments, I believe, by Tsunami Rose, and it has a lot of blues in it, and I wanted to pick up on that in this. And so this is going to be my outside, and this is going to be the inside. So the first thing that you have to do to make this is you have to kind of gut the book and take the pages out, and I will do that with you. I'll do it on one, and then you can see what it's like, and then you don't have to watch me do both. First, I'm just going to take my craft knife, and I'm going to go down the side and first cut the paper. And I'm leaving this here because it goes with my theme. I'll put other papers over it, but it may be in the background. So as you can see, we've got this spine right here. And so then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So it's really, really easy. Part of the reason people love doing these Reader's Digest is the size and the simplicity of them. Let me go down. You want to try not to cut through the outside, so you don't want to go in too far. I'm going to go like this so I can make sure I don't go too far. I really want to use the spine is, you can fix it if you do that, but I really would like to keep it intact. Well, it's not working good on that side. Okay. There should be, like, you can feel the gap, and you go in there, and you just kind of go in there and get it. I'm just trying to be really careful and not cut all the way through. And I did cut a tiny, no, I think that was already like that. Okay, there we go. And so I'm just getting this part out. And this one is pretty vintage. So these pages, the coloration in them is great. So I will definitely keep this because I love these pages. You can only keep so many pages, so I usually only keep the ones that are more vintage. I usually don't keep the other ones just because at some point you have to let go. All right, so I'm going to do this one too. Okay, so that's done. Oh, wait, got to go all the way through. There's kind of like a mesh material in there, and you got to make sure you get through that. Okay, so there we go. And all right, so you have the inside of this one, and honestly, if you are just starting out, I always kept all my book pages, and then used a lot of them, but I've just gotten to the point where I have too many, so I probably, now this would make a good glue book. A lot of people use it for that. I'll just use this one because I have, you know, lots of pages. So anyway, all right, so now you have your two journal covers, and what you have to do next is you need to reinforce the spine, because all it really is like a very light cardboard on there, and so you want to reinforce the spine. And so what I'm going to do that with, so this is what I'm going to use. It's kind of a cotton duct, and it's fairly thick. And you could also put Tyvek in here too to kind of reinforce it even more. I kind of feel like the material is enough. You know, if you want to do both, you can. And I have done both before. But on this one, I'm not going to do that. And all I'm going to do is kind of measure. And I'm going to do it a little bit beyond the spine, so it'll go about right here. Get some scissors. And I tear, because I want it to, this is going to be kind of a little bit shabby. Not a shocker, is it? Anyway, so I'm doing that. And then, so I know I have the width that I want, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of put this in half, because let me make sure it's the same, what I want. Yeah, that's about right. You want it to hang over the side a little bit, because it's catching each side, and that reinforces it. So this is right about the size I need. So I'm kind of put it in half. It doesn't have to be perfect, but so I'm going to do that. Rip it because I want that frayed look. And so that will go there, and that will go there. Okay. I'm probably going to add other stuff to it. So I have to think about what papers I want to put over here. Let's see here. I had a couple kind of picked out, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I'll pick out those. And before I glue that in, I'm going to put these in here. Now I think these are too big. Yep. Yep. But I'm going to tear them because I actually don't want them perfect. So go ahead and let me move that aside for a second. And I want to tear these. So I think I'm gonna mark these so I can kind of have an idea, because it's really not a lot. Well, let me see. Yeah, it's not going to take much to tear off of these. Okay, it's just going to be, all right, so I'm going to tear this right before that line. Then I'm going to tear, well, just a tiny bit off of this, because I want the tear on each side. It's really hard to do it when you're at the edge there. And I don't care if it's perfect, that's kind of the point. All right, let me see where we are with that. Yeah, a little bit more, that's good. Okay, so let's see if that fits. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay. And I'm going to ink up around the sides, and then I'm going to ink this because this is a little bright for me, and so I don't really want it this bright. So what I will do is take, I don't know if I want to do Vintage Photo first. Well, maybe. I'll try it. I will just take some Vintage Photo. Let me see how it looks a little on here. Yeah, and it'll dull it down quite a bit. I'm not going to leave all of this on there. It's going to be covered. So I'm kind of going around the edges. I just kind of did it in the middle just to see what it would look like. Yeah, so that'll work good. That'll work good. So I am going to ink up my paper before I put it down there. I'm going to glue that in. Now, what's interesting about these, though, is that these will be covered also. So I wonder which one I want to put in front. I may want to put... The way this is going to work, guys, is that one journal is going to fit inside the other. So this will fit... This is my inside one, and this will go like that. So it's going to be like that, okay? So... this will show and this will show, but now this won't. So I'm trying to think here which I want where. Do I want this here maybe, or do I want it here? They're going to get covered up a lot, so it's kind of, I think I want that in the middle. Yeah. So, I do have to cover this and this before I can put the other paper down. So I'm going to go ahead and do my other paper. And I guess I'll just do this one. Move this out of the way so you guys can see. All right. So let's just go. I'm going to ink that. So I do have to cover these, and I'm going to put that there, that there. And I think I'm just going to use my, I don't know, I might just use a glue stick. I don't want rippling in it, so I'm not going to use like my tacky glue or anything like that, because it does tend to ripple if you put too much, and I always tend to put too much, so make sure that fits. It's a little big. Let me see how this one is. This one's better. I might have to tear that just a tiny bit. I want it just a tiny bit smaller than the there, that'll work probably. Probably being a little bit too picky, but all right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm just going to do it on here because I have a glue book right next to me, but anyway. Well, it looks like my glue stick's running out. Let me see if I have another one right handy. And my glue stick is really good glue stick, so I know it'll stay stuck down, so I'm not concerned about that. It's Scotch Permanent Glue Stick, and I really, really like it because I don't ever have to worry about stuff coming back up, you know. Anyway. All right, so I'm going to glue that down, and I'm going to put it right to where you can just barely see the, let me make sure that's up the right way, yeah. The edge, and glue that down, and that way I don't have to worry about, you know, I lost my big bone folder. I know it's in my craft room somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Let's make sure I get all the edges down. It looks like I have a little spot right here that's coming up, and I will just glue that down. Okay, and make sure that's on there good, and no ripples or anything like that. Okay, and I'm going to do the other one. And I inked it right. Okay. I'm just kind of... Now, before I got this glue stick, I never used glue stick for something that I wanted to be permanent because I didn't trust it. But honestly, this glue stick is fantastic. Really good. Okay, so I'm going to put this one down. And I'm just basically covering the blue for the most part. Not that it would be bad if some of it showed. It's not really going to make a difference. And I want it on there relatively straight. Okay. And then again, just kind of rub it all down. Make sure it gets down there good. And yeah, that corner's a little big, but that's okay. It won't matter. Most of it will be covered. Okay, so now we have both of those covered. What you want to do next is take your material, and this is where if you wanted to put Tyvek in there, you could. I just don't think we'll need it because this will make it strong enough, but you would normally then put your Tyvek in there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put this in because your material will keep it strong. And for that, I am going to use my 3-in-1. It does adhere good, and make sure I can get it down there good. And I'm going to make sure I have enough. And put a little bit all over here. And I'll probably have to go back in on the ends and add more, but I always put it in and then, you know, just go back in and make sure I have enough here. And then I take, where's my little spreader thing? Here we go. I always spread it out to make sure I have enough everywhere. And this is where you very easily could use your PVA glue and stuff. I use this mainly just when I'm filming, just because it dries faster. So then I'm going to put this in and try and make it reasonably even on each side, which is not. So I'm going to move it over a little bit. Even still a little bit more. Not the end of the world if it's not. And I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of smush it in a little bit. Make sure that it's in the little creases. And then go on the ends. And like I said, I'll have to probably go back on the ends and add more. Let's see. It's a little bit more on this side than that side, but that's okay. It's not going to matter. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on the end to make sure that it goes all the way across. And I like the frayed business, and I'm going to probably fray this some more and cut it some more when it's done. Usually make it a little bit bigger than it needs to be, or a little bit longer, and then cut it later. I'd rather have it longer than shorter, so. Okay, so that's in there good. And I make sure it's all in there. And the reason I'm not putting the Tyvek in is this stuff is really strong. If you don't have, if your material is not really strong, then you probably would want to put something in there. You can use duct tape, you can use another piece of material, whatever you want to do. So, so that is that side, okay? Now on the other one, as I said, this is our outside cover. So what's going to happen is that this piece right here is going to go over that piece. So we won't have to cover, this side with paper. Okay, we just have to cover this side. Okay, so we're going to cover that side. Just have to choose. I think I like this one better. I'm going to put that there. Okay, so that's what it'll look like. But we still are going to have to put this down. Okay, so what we will do is we will do this. Do the side here. And this double book idea was definitely not mine. It was Dawn on the Book Vandal, and she comes up with some really amazing ideas. So I will try to remember to link her channel, but if I don't, it is Dawn and the Book Vandal, and I'm telling you, she has some very unique ideas. But I thought, since I was trying to figure out something to do for this project, and I wanted it to be something a little different than I'd been doing and what I am doing, because I'm in the middle of doing some other journals, and I like to change it up, not just for you guys, but for me, because I get bored. I mean, I get kind of, I don't like to do anything that's like mass production, like I'm doing the same thing after another. Even if I know that I can sell that kind of journal, or I just don't like to do that. I don't know. I just can't do it. I used to do a lot of other crafts and craft shows and stuff, and I got really burnt out just doing things so that they would sell, and I don't do that anymore. Okay. All right, now, I don't know if this is small enough, and make sure I do the right size. So it's going to go on here. Yeah, and just make sure, see, that is upside down. I would have done it on the wrong side. Okay, so that's right, and that's going to go there, and so that goes there. Okay, because this is the outside. So that is going to go right here, okay? That's where that's going to go, and it's perfect size, and yeah, great. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up a little bit. I'm not going to do too much on here because I don't know exactly what I'm going to cover. I'm mainly concerned with this side. And I could do that later, but I figure I might as well do it now. And I just do that really just to give it a little bit of, you know, character. So, I hope everybody's doing well. if you watched my last video, you heard about all the crazy stuff going on in my life, and we finally got to where it's almost like, oh gosh, you know, we can breathe. We've kind of made a decision to stay put for a while, and we're just going to leave that alone, and we're not messing with it. And but we still had, if you'd heard about when we were traveling, you know, we got in a wreck with the RV. We had to take that in, and my husband's car, and we're trying to get ready for a trip to go to Colorado. And I hope the car's ready. The RV's fine, and we've got it back, but we don't have the truck. So, you know, it's supposed to be ready like a couple days before we go. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, if it's not, I guess we won't go, or we'll go later, or I don't know what we're going to do. I do not know. We may not be able to go as long as we thought. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, so we got that, and have that. So now what we're going to do, almost stopped. Very important thing. We've got to put this reinforcement on. So we got to do that. Almost forgot. This is very important. Okay. I'm trying to hurry because I want to get the construction part all in one video, and then we'll do the decorating and all that in another video, because honestly, guys, there's no way I can do it in one. Even if I try and edit and cut out a lot of stuff and make it as short as I can, but sometimes it's just, you know, and I really don't like doing, like, you know, part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or something, you know. I just like, you know, 2 or 3 really, I really want it to be my max. I like 3 really to be my max. Okay, so let's do that. But, you know, all right, so now I got that on there. Make sure it's on there good. Okay, so I'm going to put that on again, trying to, maybe if I do it from down here, I can tell if it's 50-50. Yeah, that's better. I didn't do a great job on the last one. Oh, but I didn't move it down enough. There we go. All right, so now we're putting that on there. Let's see. Yeah, that's better than the last one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and smush that in there. Make sure it gets in the little creases. Get it in there. And this dries fairly quickly, so. And then I'm going to do the sides, because, you know, obviously I didn't put it all the way out there. And go in there and do that. Because I don't want it, you know, squeezing out the side. So that's part of the reason I wait till later. On this one, though, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to be doing that in a minute anyway. This side, it does, kind of. So I'm going to put a little bit more glue. Looks like I've got to refill my glue bottle. And it's getting a little thick too. You know how when it gets to the bottom, it gets a little thick. So I'm going to add some acetone in there. Okay, and I like all the little strings. I don't want too many, but I like them in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, and hopefully I did this the right way. Whew. Sometimes, you know, you got to double check. You want to line this up. Okay, so you've got this part right here. Here's your book, and here's this part, and then you have this part right here. So this is the inside, and this is the, no, this is the outside. I'm sorry, because you want one whole book to be the outside. It's going to be like this. So when you, like, if you see it on a shelf or something, it's going to look like that. So this is an outside. This is an outside. So now what you're going to do, yeah, make sure you have them both the right way. And the reason I say that is the first one I did it upside down. And then you want to line up the edges, okay? So here is your edge right here. You want to line that up with this, and you want to glue it on right like that, okay? So you don't want to cover this part right here to where you can't bend it, okay? You want to get it right up to the edge so that it can bend back and forth, and you want this side to be able to bend. So you're going to put your glue here, I may have to open this to get enough glue out because we're getting to the bottom. It's not coming out very good. So you're going to put your glue all over here. And be generous because you don't want it to come apart. Now you could use hot glue on this if you want to. You definitely could use hot glue. I was going to, but I'm going to tell you that this holds very well. And the reason I like it using this rather than hot glue is that it gives you a few seconds, not a lot, but it gives you a little bit of time to maneuver it if it's not perfect. But you definitely could do hot glue here. And it would work. But like I said, I like to be able to maneuver it around. And I have found that it holds extremely well. So there we go. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to go ahead and move it around a little bit so we have good coverage. Okay. I don't want to do it too much because it starts to dry. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put, make sure I get it on there right. Okay, that goes there, this goes here. And I want to get it right to that edge. It's just a sweet spot between the two little bendy parts here. Okay, and that's where you want to get it, right there. Make sure that bends. See, that's got to bend there, and that's got to bend there. So that's the important thing. And then kind of smush it down a little bit to make sure it's even, you know, so the top and the bottom are even. Okay, let's make sure that'll, see, so that's how it's going to work, okay? And, oh, that one's part's crooked a little bit. See, that's why I kind of like using the 3-in-1 rather than the, and I think, I haven't tried it, but I have a feeling that you could use like tacky glue or something and it would probably work fine, you know. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I have clips here and I'm going to go ahead and clip this because I want this to make sure that it adheres really well. Okay, and I'm going to do that on this side. Make sure it's straight, right? And put that over there. And then put that over there. And I'm going to let that dry. Okay, and that is pretty much that part of the journal. And it's going to end up being, you know, like this. And this is pretty much the outside of it, okay? So we're going to let that dry for a few seconds and talk about what we're going to do on the inside. Now, the way I'm doing this journal is I am going to do a 2 signature journal on one side and then a ephemera holder, file folders on the other side, and then in the middle is just going to be some pockets, okay? So basically you're going to have ephemera folders on one side and a journal basically with 2 signatures on the other side, and they're going to be removable. So what happens then, let me move this here and get my thingy out. Let's see if I can find them. So I'm going to need a total of 8. So I want to get 8 of them out while that is drying. And anyways, guys, so I am kind of relieved that I'm not going to be going through the whole moving thing because, gosh, who likes to do that? You know, a little bummed because I was kind of excited, but at the same time, I think we made a good decision for ourselves. And we're just going to stay put until my husband retires, and then we'll make a decision then if we want to move or not. You know, I just think for us, if you're not sure, I just think you shouldn't do it. That's all. And I think the fact that this house that we were going to buy, I'm serious, it failed every single major, you know, thing in the house. every major appliance, the roof, I mean, everything. It was weird. So I said, if that wasn't an omen, I don't know what would be. But so it kind of told us what we needed to do, really. And we were just like, okay, so I have those. I'll put this aside so I'm not banging into everything. And then get my little cruncher thing. Let's see. I've got to get my elastic. I'll do that after. I'm going to punch the holes. Okay, so it's probably dry enough because this stuff does not take forever, that's for sure. It dries quick. So, and I like using the little clamps. I got those at the Dollar Tree, and they have smaller ones too. And I have yet to encounter the small ones, but anyway, let me put that up so we can see what we're doing. So this is what we have. Okay, so this is our little, this is going to be our journal, and we've reinforced it here and here. So I guess if you wanted to, you could have put the material like right here, you know, so it would match. I never really thought about that, but I'm going to put lace and stuff over here, so you're not going to really be able to tell. But what you're going to do at this point is, this is where I'm doing just the mechanics today. We're going to go ahead and put our eyelets in there. And the reason, oh, that kind of got folded under. How did that happen? Did it get glued? Oh, good. Okay, there we go. The reason is I want all the mechanical parts of it basically done first, like the actual structure, before we get to the other part. Okay, so I've got 4, so I'm going to have 2 here, 2 here, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you want to make them the same. So let's see here. I don't know. This is usually it's 1.5 inch or whatever. Yeah, it's a little over 1.5. So let's just say, okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just like a little template. That way I know, for sure. What am I going to use here? I'm going to like just a piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to make a little template so that I know that I'm making it exactly the same on both. I'm kind of putting that in there. This is going to go right here. And it's going to cut off. Is that the top? Let me see where the top is, right here. Easier to do it here because I can't see. Right here. Get that straight. And I'm just going to cut that right there. All right. So I'm going to make a little template so that I do both the same. And I want them to be about the same distance. So I'll probably, let's see, I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to fold this in half. Like that, exactly in half. Maybe, if I can do that. All the way down. Now you could definitely use your scoreboard, which I have them all over the place here, but I'm just too lazy to get it out. And just do that. Okay, and that gets it in half. And then what I do is I fold it again. Like I said, it's probably easier to use your scoreboard, but I'm just doing it the lazy way because I don't want to measure. I don't want to get the scoreboard out. I don't want to do anything. Okay, so now I've done it again. Okay, and all that's going to do is tell me where I need to put my little lines here. My little brads. I'm sorry, eyelets. Okay, so I'm using this line and that line. That's what I'm going to use. Then I'm going to go down probably about 1 inch. So let's see. I don't like to go, well, actually I don't want to go that far because this is already short. So I probably don't want to go more than 1/4 of an inch. So let me do that here. Yeah, I really need to go as high up as I can because otherwise my papers are not going to fit. So let's just go, move it up here. I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch right here and 1/4 of an inch right here. And I can do that on the bottom as well. Okay, so this tells me where I'm going to put my eyelets on both of them. And I can mark that with my pencil, or I can, you know, I'm probably just, let me get it in there. I'm going to hold it to the top and the bottom so I know, and the side, so I know it's not crooked or anything. And I'm just going to mark them. Is that in there straight? Let me see. Yeah, okay. And I'm just going to mark it with my pencil because that's enough. I don't need to get really overly technical with this, but it just gives me an idea. And then I'm going to do it up here. Go. Yeah, it's easier for me to turn it over. It's too far away from me there. So let me line it back up. Get that over there. Get this to the top. Make sure it's straight in there. And then I'm going to do that one. And then I'm going to do that one. Okay. So I have them marked. And let me do the other side real quick. Same thing. Just going to kind of make sure it fits right. It should fit right in there. And just make sure they look straight when you're done. Even when you do that. And they do. So that way when you put them in there, they're not crooked and they're not cockeyed. Now this one looks a little off. So I'm going to have to move it up a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better. This looks like it needs to be down here. And these look pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm using the larger one, the larger hole, and I'm going to go, I just wonder if is that far enough? Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. I'm going to go here, right on my hole. And But anyway, this is how it's going to work, okay? So that is going to be your book, and then we'll have our elastic in here. We'll do that real quick. My elastic cording that I use, this is 2mm Doris. I got that on Amazon. Anyway, I'm going to use the black for this, and what I usually do is I take it 2 times the book length, and I do that for each one. So basically, here's one, and I'm going to do 4 of these. It's 1, cutting 3 more, and they don't have to, definitely don't have to be exactly perfect. You can cut them later. 2. And this comes in all different colors. I need to get white, but I only have really black and gold, and that's pretty much it, but you definitely can get it in all different colors. Okay, so I have 4 now, and I have to decide if I'm going to redo that or not. I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to be able to tell for time's sake. If I were just doing this for me, I probably would redo it, but I'm going to go ahead and put these through. And these will show. I'm not going to cover them up. I'm not, you know, this is still going to look like a Reader's Digest book when we're done. And I go ahead and I want them tight, but not, you know, super, super tight. So I'll go ahead and tie that once in there. Okay. And I don't do the double tie until I'm completely done with the whole thing to make sure that everything's okay. And usually when I'm completely done, I will put a dab of glue in here and, you know, tie it twice, and that way it does stay. It's easier to do this from that side. Okay, and then do the other one. You just always want to make sure you have enough room to tie. Again, you want it tight, but you don't want it, you know, pulling on your journal. Oh my goodness, I'm having a hard time doing this. And I normally don't. Okay, I don't know why it's giving me a hard time. Okay, so now, there we go. That's number 2. And then we're going to go here. Oh, I did that. You don't want it too loose, guys, I'm telling you, because you want to be able to have whatever you put in there stay put. If you do it loose, then it will kind of move all around. There we go. That's it. And then put it in here. Put it in there. Okay. All right. So now I've got these in there, and I will take a dab of glue and put it right, like I said, it's getting just a little dab, and kind of roll it in there to make sure it keeps the knot in there. And I do that all the way across on every one. Okay, and that keeps the knot from coming untied, and it stays there permanently. And if somebody wanted to replace these, they could cut them and put new ones in. It would be no problem. And I do that, tighten it up, and I will tie it one more time and do it really tight to try and not make the knot too bulky, okay? And I'll do that all the way across. Okay. And you don't have to do the second knot, but I do, just to make sure. Okay, and then I go through and I just cut them down to right where the knot is. And the glue that you put in there before should hold the outside knot. So if you wanted to, you could put another dab of glue on there. I usually don't because I think it holds the other knot in there. Okay. And I kind of just put those toward the middle or the bottom like that, so you won't really see the knot. Get that all the way down. I don't know why that's not moving. So you just kind of leave them there, and they will just kind of, or you can keep them in the middle, but I kind of always keep them on the bottom because they're not noticeable down there. Okay, and that is how I do it. Now, this part right here, what I do is I will go ahead, like, okay, so that just needs a little bit more glue, I think, right here. It's like it's not down there enough. I don't know. This part right here, I need to put a little bit more glue and then let it sit. Okay, and like I said, I could have put this over here, to kind of make it look the same, but when we get done with this, you're not going to notice that, okay, because we're going to put some lace and things in here too. And I am going to put a little bit more glue right here, because see, there's a gap, and I don't want that gap. I want it to, I just think I didn't let it sit long enough, you know, with the clips, because we're trying to get stuff done. So I am going to come back in here put a lot more glue, and if I have to, I'll use my hot glue gun, but I don't think I'll need to. Yeah, it is kind of separating, and I think that's because, you know, the books are warped a little bit. They're not perfectly flat, so we got to make sure that they're glued together good. And I'm going to leave these on here for quite a while, all the way across, I think. Oh yeah, see the glue squishing out. Let me get that glue out of there. Ugh, I don't want the glue. I don't want that much glue coming out of the top of it. And put that in there, right? And then I'll do it on this side. See, do we need to put any more glue on there? I don't know. I can't really tell. It doesn't look like it. It's just that one side, and it could be that the book is warped a little bit. But, and that's one reason why you kind of don't want to put the material on that side. And I really would like that to lay flatter. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something on there heavy. I will put something like heavy right here just to, here, I'll put that on there. That'll work. You guys have to see this. I got these, and I was going to show you these anyway, while it's sitting here on top of my book, because it's heavy. This whole bucket is full of beautiful vintage buttons, and I won it on an auction on eBay, and I think people didn't realize when they had it listed, because it was listed by weight instead of, you know, lot or whatever. I don't think they realized the amount that was involved there. And so it's just, I mean, it's just this huge, and they're all very vintage. Most of them are mother of pearl. Most of them really are. And it's unbelievable how many I have in here. And I had, you know, quite a bit from my mother stuff, but I was really getting to the end of the mother of pearl ones. And these are, I mean, I'm not kidding, guys, the whole thing. So in my giveaways, I definitely will be sharing. They had a few colored ones in there, they had a few of these. Look at these beautiful buckle things, and then some black ones. But I got that fairly inexpensive when you consider how much it cost to buy those. And I was in shock. It's kind of like that time when I bought all that those doilies and lace and the tablecloth and everything, because it was listed by weight, and I don't think people had paid attention to that. And when I saw how much in weight it was, I was in shock. So anyway, this is all you're going to do for this. Looks like I need to put some glue on this side. I'm going to go ahead and go back in here and glue that a little bit. But this is all you're going to do for the construction part. So we will have a part 2 where we decorate it. And that's just going to be putting the file folders in, and the ephemera folders, and the journal part, and then the pockets back here, and decorating the front. So I hope we can get it all done in part 2. I'll probably have a lot of things done ahead of time and just kind of, you know, do it as fast as we can, because I do know that I did do one of these before, but I just thought I'd do it, you know, non-Christmassy, and see how it turned out and bring you guys along with me. All right. Well, thanks for joining me.